Yo, what's up guys, Drew here, and today I'm going to show you guys everything you need to know about how to make a Jugg edit. And yeah, it's a pretty long one, so I'm not going to, talk your ear off or anything, but if you enjoy like these tutorials and stuff, you can do a super thanks in the comments. If not, you can like and subscribe if you enjoy it. If you don't, then don't do any of that. But yeah, let's just get straight into it. First thing you're gonna want to do is add your scales. So to add your scales, you can do Control-Alt-Y to add a adjustment layer, and then cut it to the same size as your clips. So we'll just do the first one right here. So for this one, we're gonna go on the adjustment layer, then we're gonna put on transform. And once you have on transform, go to the very start of your clip and then keyframe the scale and then keyframe it in. So we can do like 156 and then go to the end of your clip and turn it to 100. Now once you have that, make a keyframe. So we're gonna go press U on the adjustment layer, highlight both of the keyframes, and then F9, and then that'll ease your frames. And if you can't press F9, just highlight both of the keyframes, right click on it, go to keyframe assistant, and then go to easy ease. So once you have them easy ease, you can make a little graph. Go to your graph editor, like right here, make a graph like this. So it looks like that. If you don't have that, then highlight both your keyframes, click right here, and then make a graph like this. And then for your next clip, you're going to want to zoom it in. So you're going to want to do the same thing, except for you're going to start the scale at 100 and then end it at like let's say 120, 125, 120. And then keyframe it almost the exact same way. And then for your third clip, since this is already zoomed in, you're going to want to make an adjustment layer and put transform on it. And since this one ended when it was zoomed in, you look at the number you zoomed it in by. So since I zoomed it into 120, this one's going to start at 120. And then it's going to end at obviously 100. And then keyframe that. And then your scale should look like this. And then you can continue to do that for the rest of your clips, and you don't have to always do a zoom in, zoom out. You can do like a zoom out, zoom in, zoom in. Like you can switch it up if you really would like to. Okay, so once you have all your scales, now it's time to add your shakes. So before you add your shakes, put motion tile on every single clip. So you're gonna want to go search up motion tile, and then tick mirrored edges, and then do output height 333 and then output width 333. Don't worry about these two up here, and then you can just click on it, Control C, and then paste it to every single clip. Do not put it on the adjustment layer, put it on your actual clip. And what this does is it has a shake, it doesn't go black, or if you zoom out, it's not like black. See how it's like mirrored instead of just straight black. So yeah. Alright, so now that you have motion tile, go on your adjustment layer and then add s_shake. Alright, so now it's time for the shakes. So what I like to do is I like to start and turn your amplitude to like 1.5, and then your frequency, this really depends on how you want the shake to look, but we're gonna do like a lower frequency shake, so we can do like 470, 460, 470. And then you're gonna change these values right here, your X, your Y, your Z, and your tilt shake. So your X shake, obviously it shakes on the X axis, so you can change your random amplitude. So we can do like 123, and then we're gonna change this random frequency to 0.8, and then our X wave amp, we're gonna change to like 4950. And then for our Y, we're gonna make it a little lower. So we're gonna make this 84. I'm gonna still do 0.8, and then the amp we're gonna do just 15. And for your Z shake, you're gonna want to turn this up a good amount. So we're gonna do like 94, 42, and then 2.8 on this again. And your tilt shake, this is completely optional, but I like to add a little tilt shake, so I'm gonna do like this right here. That should be good. And then once you have that, go to the end of your clip and then turn your amplitude to 0. Now you're gonna want to press U on your clip or your adjustment layer, highlight both of these, and then do F9 or easy ease. So as you can see, it looks like this. You're gonna want to add a keyframe to this, or a graph, I mean. So make it a sharp graph, preferably like something like that. So your shake should look something like this. And if you don't like how it looks, then you can also change the phase too. So just go to the start and then change the phase to whatever you would like it to look like. So say if we started it right here, it would turn out a bit different like this. I think I like the first one more though, so we're gonna keep this. Okay, and for the second one, we're gonna add an adjustment layer on top of your new layer or your second clip. So we're gonna add another adjustment layer, so Control-Alt-Y and then cut it to size. So for this one, we're gonna actually stretch it over both clips. So basically you take your adjustment layer that you just made on top of this one, and then you're gonna stretch it over your clip right here. So however this clip starts to slow down, like I'd say it starts to like slow down / completely stop about right here. So I stretch it over to right here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frames away. It really depends on how long your clips are. So mine just happens to be 6 frames away, so I'm gonna do that. And you're gonna want to go to the middle of your beat or your marker, and then you're gonna want to add shake. Okay, so now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna make this a higher frequency shake. So we can do like 650. Our amplitude is gonna be 1.25. We're gonna make our X shake higher, so we're gonna do 160. We're still gonna do 0.8 on the random frequency, and then change your amp up to like 66. Our Y, we're gonna keep it at 93.8 for random. The amp 36. Z shake, we can kick that up to 106.8, and tilt shake. Okay, so now that you have that, go to the very start of this adjustment layer, turn your amplitude to 0, go to the end, turn it to 0. Okay, and now once you have this, you can highlight it all and then do easy ease. And then you're gonna want to highlight these first two, and then make a graph similar to this. So make it look like this, and then apply. And then for your next one, make it look like this. So if you run into this problem right here, where you see it has these little like, you know, like I don't know, it just looks weird like this, go to your adjustment layer that's under this one, and then change the scale to just scale it all the way up. This won't change any effect that's on here, it'll just get that away. So your shake should start to look something like that. And then you can also change the phase to make it look a little better, so I'm gonna do that. Alright, so once you have your phase all figured out and it looks pretty good to you, we're gonna move on to the next one. So for this shake, we're gonna do something a little different. So we're gonna take this and then add another shake. Take this adjustment layer, add another shake, so S_shake. And once you have this, go like to the very start of the clip and then change the amplitude to 0. and then change your frequency to 6. Just do 6. And then make your Y shake stronger. So basically what this is gonna do is gonna ramp all the way up in Y, and then this one, it'll end. We'll start this one with the Y shake, so it kind of transitions into it. So you're gonna want to turn your X shake down. So we're gonna do like 93.8. Then we can change this to 25. Then we're gonna change our Y to about 130. Change the amplitude a little bit, 0.8. And then your Z shake, obviously you're gonna want that pretty high, so there we go. Tilt shake. Okay, so now that you have that, you're gonna want to go to the very end, change this to 1. And once you changed it to 1, you're gonna want to press U on the thing, highlight them both, and then make a keyframe or a graph like this. Okay, so your shake should look something like this. And then we're gonna start this clip off with a Y shake. So you can just do it on this adjustment layer. So we're gonna start this off, like I said, with the Y shake. So change your amplitude to about 1.3. Frequency, you can change this down to 5.6. And then your X shake, you're gonna want that pretty low, so 96.8. Change your amp. Y shake, you're gonna want this high. We could do 143.8. 40. Z shake, pretty high as well. We can do 111. Then change the amp. Tilt shake. So now that you have that, obviously go to the very end and change it to 0, and then highlight them both, and then make a pretty sharp graph like that. Okay, so you can actually turn the frequency down a little bit. I turned mine back to 440, and really it's trial and error because I changed it, and then I also changed my phase. So what I did was I looked at this clip. As you can see, it kind of bounces and then it starts going down, right? Like you see it goes down. This one, I started it to where it's up. You can kind of see the motion tile, and then it comes down. So how I did that was I went on here, and instead of, if your phase is not good enough, then you can just go to the individual shake phases. So like for this one, I changed the Y phase because that's your up and down. So I changed that to where it would be more up, like so. If I changed it, see, it would be down. And then you could do the same with your X shake too. So like if I wanted to move it over here per se. So as you can see, I moved the Z or X shake over. So this one goes like down into the left, and then this one starts up and then goes down to the left too. So it kind of flows together like that. And then for this one, it's like a, like a build up frame. So this one's not really gonna have too much going on. So what you can do is you can just leave it like this for now until we get to 1 framers, and then you can add the rest of your shakes. So just basically using these principles, like your first shake, your build up shake, just make it flow together using you can reuse the shakes I made too. So I'm gonna finish up these shakes, and then I'm going to show you how to do your warps. Alright, so now that I have all my shakes, we can get into warps and effects. So yeah, for this tutorial, I'll probably just do warps and framers. Obviously you can do whatever you want with Jugg, but yeah, I'm just showing how to make some basic warps and framers. So let's get into it. So the first warp we can do is actually right here, and this is actually gonna be a pretty useful time to use that warp I showed in my last video. So if you don't know how to do it, then watch the video, but I won't really explain it too much. We're just gonna do it. So you're gonna put warp bubble, and then you're gonna copy the settings from my video. Okay, so there we go. It looks like that. So if you haven't seen it, it's like a 3-minute video. It's not long at all. You can check it out. But I'll just show you the graphs I used. So for the start, I used this graph, and then for the end, I used a graph like, you know, like this. And those are my settings. So these are my settings right here. So, you know, if you don't really want to watch the video, it's not too long, but I fully explain it in the video. But yeah, it's just this one. And then the next place we're gonna add a shake is about, I feel like we can add one right here too. And what I'm gonna do for this one is a warp puddle. So you're gonna make an adjustment layer, stretch it over both clips. So we could do like halfway on the first clip. Then for obviously the second clip, we're gonna make it go all the way to the end. And then you're gonna want to add something called warp puddle. So here's your warp puddle. So once you have your warp puddle on, you go to the middle and then set your amplitude to 0.05 and your frequency to 1.20. Everything else, like, just copy the settings. I think everything else is the same, but yeah. And then for the end, obviously you're gonna put 0. And then for the beginning, you're gonna put 0. And then you're gonna use the same graphs we've been using. So like something like this for the start, this for the end. And then it should come out something like this. Now that you have your warps, we can move on to framers and effects. So you don't need to overdo it with warps. You can really just put them wherever you want. So feel free to mess around with some of those warps and put them wherever you want. But yeah, let's get into effects. Okay, so for my first effect, I think right here I want to add like something where it goes kind of dark. What I want to do is I want to put an adjustment layer over this one. So Control-Alt-Y, put it over the ones you already have. You're gonna want to put hot spots on here, and once you have hot spots, as you can see, it kind of just like makes your thing a little like black or whatever. So you're gonna want to change your threshold. So for the start, obviously your threshold is gonna be 0, and then you're gonna want to go to the end and change it to however I want it to look. I'm gonna make it like this. I think that looks pretty cool. Okay, now that I'm looking at it, I kind of want this to be a little higher, and I want to remove the tritone. So I don't want this to be as dark. Okay, now that that's a little lighter, I'm gonna go and move this up a couple frames, and then for the end, I'm gonna change it back to 100 or ceramic. So because it goes into this clip, and this clip is gonna be, you know, normal. So as you can see, it looks like this. It gets a little dark and then it comes back. Nothing too crazy, but just a little effect right there. And then okay, for this one we can do like a CC light rays. So we can do like a CC light rays going across his teeth or something. So to do that, you're gonna want to add CC light rays to your adjustment layer. You can make a new one or add it to this one, it doesn't really matter. And then you can have this right here. I usually like to just hold it by this, or you can change the center, but this is just a lot easier to click and drag on this. And then you're just gonna want to keyframe the center and then go all the way to the end and then see where you want it to end up. So like I probably have it end like somewhere right here, so it kind of moves across. And then once you have that, you're also gonna want to go to the beginning, keyframe intensity, change it to 0, go to the end, change it to 100, and then you can change your settings to see how you want it to be. So like you can increase the radius, the warp softness, whatever you need to. I'll probably change this like that, see how that looks, and then you're gonna add your keyframe. So as you can see, the trajectory of it is kind of bad, so to fix that, you're gonna want to change the starting place. So since this is a shake, obviously it's gonna like start weird, so you can actually just take the center And then you can put it in the middle, I guess, and then just kind of align it. So turn this down and then go over like this to where you want it to start. And then you can delete this keyframe and then put this at the start. And then all the keyframe I'm doing for this is just easy ease. So all F9 or you know, highlight it and then easy ease. And you can even move this in to where like you see where it fully shows its smile, it stops like right there. You can change it to move the keyframes up a little bit. And then you can go to the very end and then change the intensity all the way to 0. Okay, so here we go. I just moved this up a little bit, so I moved the intensity from 100 like to go right about here, and then change it to 0 when it gets to the end. So it looks like that. Okay, so there we go. These are the only 2 effects I'm gonna use for this tutorial, just to keep it like simple and quick, but obviously you can add whatever you need to. But yeah, now we're gonna go into one framers, and yeah. All right, so one framers, so like the name suggests, it's just a 1 frame effect usually, and then you can use that to kind of mesh your clips together and make it more fluid. So like for the start, we can start off with 1 frame right here, and I have easy layers, but if you don't, obviously Control Alt Y and then cut it to where it's just 1 frame, and then boom, there's your 1 framer. So you can add any effect you want to it. So like here, I feel like we can add a blur. So let's do BCC Gaussian blur, and then we can change it to 4. And then we can actually, I want to add something else, so we can move this 1 framer up a little bit. We can move it up 1 frame, and then we can make another 1 framer, and then I want this to be BCC radial blur, and then put in the center, and the amount doesn't really matter, just whatever you think looks good. There we go, looks like that. And then for the warp one, for this 1 framer, I'm gonna put, and then for this one right here, I'm gonna put minimax, and then I'm gonna make it go horizontal. Actually, I'm gonna make it go vertical, and then turn it up. If it looks like this, you know what to do. You scale up your adjustment layers. All right, so yeah, once you got your adjustment layers all scaled, minimax, you don't have to do too much. You can actually do a little lower than this. Honestly, this is pretty high. I think 7's fine. And then you can also put another one, and then do just normal radial blur, and change it to 15, so it looks like this. Not bad. Actually, you can switch up the radial blur and the minimax, so put the radial blur first and then the minimax. And then for this one, you're just gonna want to put a 1 framer on every beat pretty much. So for this one, we can just use BCC directional blur, and then put this to 15, and then you can make another one, and then put minimax, but instead of horizontal, keep it on horizontal and vertical, and then turn it up a little bit. You have to scale up your adjustment layer. And then one more thing is also to this adjustment layer, put BCC Gaussian blur, and then you can turn it up to like 4, and then go to the very end, turn it to 0, and then go into the keyframes and easy ease it. And then since this one just goes into black and then it fades in, what I want to do is I want to add like a offset. So take another 1 framer, put it like second towards the end, and then put fill on it, and then turn it to black, and then make another one, put it on the end, and then go to offset, turn shift center on this side to 50, and then you can change it however you want, but I like to do it a little like that. And then put on BCC directional blur, change it to 15, and then there you go. And then for the middle of this one, I think I kind of want to add like a little flicker. So you can do a framer right here and then put displacement map and then displace it a little bit and then put BCC Gaussian blur. And then for this one right here, we can do a framer, put on minimax, turn it up, get another one, put on BCC radial blur, put it in the middle. So as you can see, we're literally just like pretty much reusing some of the one framers. They don't have to be like too crazy. Like obviously you can make a one framer whatever you need it to be, but for this tutorial specifically, I'm just gonna make it like blurs. So yeah. And then for the middle of this one, on this adjustment layer, we're gonna do BCC Gaussian blur. And then go in the middle, turn the horizontal blur up to like 4, and then go to the start like right here. I don't know why the start's right there, but go to the start and then change it to 0. Go to the end, change it to 0, and then easy ease all of it. And then for the framer, you can just put like a BCC radial blur again. Alright, so as you can see, after you're done with all that, your edit should look something like this. I don't really edit like this usually, but yeah, these are just kind of the basics. You can really do whatever you want with this. But yeah, this is just the bare basics. Just do whatever you need to do with these, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, if you enjoyed, make sure you like and subscribe. And yeah, peace.